Once upon a time, in an apocalyptic place where zombies have control of the entire territory, among them is this boy who is surrounded by zombies. So, with little chance of survival, he had no choice but to die in battle. That is why, with a smile on his face, he activates an explosive, ready to end his life and that of the group of zombies around. However, we see a light coming from the sky. From there, we see again the same boy as before. He was not dead. He was in a kind of celestial limbo. Then he is teleported to the moment before the end of the world happened. Meanwhile, in the city is happening a robbery in a shop. People run and flee from the thief. The city is full of mercenaries who have total control of the city. In that shop are assaulting this girl with pink hair. The thief demands the money, but seeing that she is very beautiful, it is not the only thing he demands and tries to abuse her. The defenseless girl only screamed in desperation when she saw that this guy was approaching her. But suddenly, the door of the shop is slammed with force after a huge explosion. It is the same guy who moments ago was in the spiritual limbo, but he was not there because it was his turn to be there. A countdown had just begun, indicating that he should prepare to be transported back to its origins. And what better place to collect souvenirs than a shop? The boy sees the scene and can quickly deduce what was going on with that guy and the girl, so he shoots, grazing one of his cheeks. The thief, who was in control of the situation, is now kneeling on the ground, begging for mercy for his life. The boy doesn't kill him, he just walks him on one side and with a single blow sends him to sleep. Then he asks the pink-haired girl where the warehouse is. She gladly answers him. She was very grateful, so much that she gives him the keys to the warehouse and he starts to clean it, gathering all the souvenirs with the countdown against him, so it's time to go back. Moments later, he is sent back to the apocalyptic world where the same pink-haired girl is, but from a different timeline, coming back to ask for help because of the two thugs that were bothering her, when all of a sudden a lightning bolt came down next to them. It was the boy again. The girl was happy to see him, even though she didn't recognize him, but she was still relieved that someone was helping her. The thugs with the axes underestimated him. If they wanted to fight, they would give him a fight. Since his group is one of the most dangerous gangs that controls the city, the boy positions himself to fight and rushes at them, but there is something that the guys didn't count on. This boy's mark was that of a true awakened. The mark that an awakened carries. Seeing the situation, they ask for his life. Even so, the boy does not hold back, decapitating them all. Meanwhile, the girl on the other hand was amazed by the strength of the boy. He approaches her and asks her if she remembers him. The girl manages to recognize him because he jogged her memory, but still, how is it possible that he looked the same? When the boy is about to leave, the girl asks him for a favor, which consisted of helping her boyfriend, who said that they would meet in an alley to talk about some business. But the boy realized that he had only sent her a request. Yet, it was strange that the boy had only told her to meet him in that place so badly presented, and far from any human trace. So he tells the girl that he is sure her boyfriend only did was intentionally bring her to that place just to sell her. The girl refuses to believe it. She sees him incapable of doing that kind of thing. However, from the shadows, you can see how a group of people are approaching. It was nothing more and nothing less than the Gang of the Axes, in which came the boss along with his allies, and among them, the boyfriend of the girl whose name is revealed, Shou Jie. In spite of everything, the guy seems to be happy to see her and tells the boss of the gang that she is his girlfriend and that she can get to cost a lot since she has never been touched, so she still remains a virgin. To which the boss is satisfied. The girl was confused. She didn't know what her boyfriend was talking about. He was supposed to protect her. Besides, she was worried since she had been caught by those dangerous crooks. Still, the boyfriend tells her that he did it on purpose. He kept her in those conditions to later sell her for a very good price. Something like raising pigs, it was something he always did, as he had done it before with others. Even so, when the boss approaches to go after the girl, the boy stops him and tells him that he swore to protect this girl with his life. So he tells them to stay away and that he cares very little who they are. After two of the thugs approach him, he does not let them. He shoots them, leaving them on the ground in agony. That is where everyone realizes that he is an awakened one. Even so, the other members of the group did not take importance. He was no match for the boss, who was also unawakened and hardens his skin with, which makes it very difficult to penetrate with a simple blade. Making the atmosphere a little tense, the girl's boyfriend tells her to accept her fate, as he was no match for the boss. He tells the boy that this territory belongs to him and his group, therefore that girl belongs to him. The girl asks him to let her go with them. as she doesn't want to be hurt. The boy sees her and tells her that he promised to protect her, and this is where he says his name, Liu Xiaomo, the main character of this story, who says that when he swears something, he fulfills it no matter what. He rushes into battle against the boss. He looks confident because nothing and no one had previously penetrated his rocky body, which made him win each and every one of the battles in which he fought. But not this one, because Liu manages to cut his body, leaving him on the ground in agony. The others could not believe it. Nothing before had cut the boss. The rest were scared. Is he an awakened level 2? Liu stares at them and tells them that now it's their turn. They were all scared because of how strong he was, so they started to run, but it wasn't enough, because he had an impressive speed and he wasn't going to let scum like that stay alive. So, while they were running, in the blink of an eye, with great speed, he mutilated each and every one of them, except the girl's boyfriend, who was still running, but is caught by Liu, who didn't let him escape. He kneels down and begs for mercy for his life, like the rest of the cowards who faced our boy. Yet, he gives the girl a chance to decide what her fate would be, whether she wanted him to live or die an extremely painful death. The girl finally tells him that she wants him alive, but she never wants to hear from him again in her life. The girl's boyfriend thanks her and tells her that he will never do things like that again in his life. Liu respects the decision, but he doesn't like it, as he has seen a lot of cruelty in the world, full of mercenaries before. So he shoots the girl's boyfriend with lightning. He tells her that he didn't kill him, just that he had put a few bolts of energy in the air. The boyfriend swears revenge on both Liu and the girl. Suddenly, Liu's hand starts to glow. He had unlocked the super evolution system by intertwining with it. That means he can now see his stats, his points, his level, and different things like strength, stamina, among others. Liu says that he still has many mysteries to solve, so he hurries and wants to leave. Even so, the girl doesn't leave him. She takes him by the hand and tells him where he was going, that he wasn't taking her with him. Liu gets confused. He only said that he would help her in that situation, and from there it was her problem from what happened. Besides, she didn't have any effective method of payment that would be good for him. The girl, out of desperation, wanted to sell herself. Meanwhile, in the city, we can see how the mercenaries and the powerful people have absolute control, as they use the poor and even the girls as their slaves, for just a little food. A really sad scene reflects the disappointing state in which humanity finds itself. They all fight over the leftovers that the mercenaries threw to the ground as waste. There were even people who fought to death just for a piece of bread. Liu and the girl arrived in the city. The girl asks what was that place because she had never been there. He tells her that they are in the paradise of the rich, but the hell of the poor, the Princess Street, where you could buy anything. But they go to the auction house. There, inside, you can notice a very uncontrolled atmosphere. It is full of rich people with high ego who think that the world revolves around them, treating the girls like rubbish just because they are waitresses. They didn't respect them either, as they were fighting and doing anything for a piece of old chocolate. The girl tells Liu what they do in that place. Everything looks really horrible. People treat each other badly. Liu tells her to calm down, because as they were going to leave the city, that was the best place to gather everything they needed, and what better than to buy weapons, vehicles, and war items in an auction house full of people with lots of money that would bring very good items. Liu tells one of the waitresses to take him to the auction room number 5, but they underestimated him. They treated him with contempt. Then the girls who are treating him with contempt become his slaves and told him all kinds of things to choose on one of them. But Liu did not choose any of those 3. He turned his gaze and saw a very quiet one, and she was the one chosen by him. He gives her the chocolate bars and asks her to take him to the auction room number 5, and if it was possible to get some clothes for his partner. The girl did not really want the clothes. She did not want him to spend money on them, but he tells her not to worry because being one of his groups, she needs to dress with the best of the best. The blushing girl accepts, and in the auction room number 5, which was full of buyers of weapons, begin to bid for the things. It should be clarified that they don't pay with money, they pay with bullets. Yes, but not the same bullets, as the buyers are divided into groups. Each one manufactures different types of bullets, and depending on which one is better and offers more bullets, they get the object they are auctioning all kinds of things, from mutated zombies that could be trained for the personal use of each group to really armored vehicles. And that was what interested Liu, because how he was going to get out of the city, he needed a good vehicle so that the huge amount of zombies that are outside do not approach him. It was time to auction. All are bidding millions of bullets until a guy appears in the middle of the auction. From a distance, you could see that this guy was the typical cocky and vicious guy who was full of power and took advantage of that. He was Fire Monkey from the Berserk group, the most powerful group in the whole city, who has control over all the masses and a lot of the capital. The auction was coming up, offering a lot of money for the vehicle. Nobody dared to auction it, because if someone did, they would surely end up dead. Even the big mercenaries of the city were afraid of this group, and most of all, of this guy. When they were about to close the purchase, a voice was heard in the distance, offering double what the guy had promised. Our protagonist, Liu, was the one who was challenging him, offering more money, making everyone in the room blank. No one had ever dared to challenge this guy and his group, because whoever did it the next day would wake up floating in the stream. The smug guy asks Liu if he doesn't value his life. Then our boy answers him, showing him the middle finger, telling him that if he couldn't pay, it was better for him to leave. This made him much angrier, and he made another offer. But Liu did not let him, and every time he made an offer, he doubled it, and they went on like that for a long time, until the smug guy tells the creator of the vehicle that if he sold him the vehicle with his offer, his battle group will help him. The old man did not think about it, because the battle group that the guy had was the most powerful and was recognized by the whole city. The deal was already closed. The guy was happy. No matter how much money Liu had, the power always won. But our boy wasn't going to let him. He had investigated the old man's tastes and offered him some figures that the old man dreamed of having when he was young. The smug guy was still happy because it was impossible to convince him with some figures. The old man did not think twice and decided that the vehicle was going to be sold to Liu, and nobody was going to stop him. The conceited guy was dumbfounded, as he had actually lost to him. The old man took Liu's side, telling him that he had very good expectations of him. The smug guy stealthily wants to ambush Liu when he leaves the auction house. He would let him go for now, but he wouldn't leave for long. That said, the next auction gets underway, and this time it wasn't an item. It was an unawakened girl with extensory level abilities. This type of ability is very important to have in the team, because it can locate all kinds of traces and little more than a kilometer away, becoming very effective in battle, giving it a considerable advantage. Everyone wanted to have it, but not so much for the ability, but because the girl was pretty and all the mercenaries in the room were depraved. Unlike Liu, who wanted to have it in his team, so he started the auction, but it is interrupted as the girl with the skill takes the microphone from the presenter and tells her that she is selling herself personally on one condition. Everyone around is willing to meet this condition to have that girl, but everyone is dumbfounded when she says the condition, which was that to have it on their team, they first had to kill everyone in the Berserker group. Everyone in the room went blank. It was the most powerful group in the city. No one would be able to do that, not even the whole city could go against that group. The cocky guy laughs, then he asks her if she belonged to the White Feather group. The cocky guy had remembered who the Berserk group was before. He ambushed this girl's group, leaving everyone dead, but the girl managed to escape. Before it was over, Liu offered a very good reward for the girl. The cocky team is already furious. They tell Liu that he won't live for long as the casino is surrounded by the whole group. It seems so that when he comes out he will be killed. Still, Liu, without a shred of fear in his being, asks him if perchance he planned to kill him in the casino in front of everyone. The cocky guy didn't hesitate. He didn't care about anything. The auction house is as powerful as his Berserker group. In the middle of the room, he shouted to everyone to leave as he had a quarrel with Liu and started shooting in the air. Everyone around was running and shouting. The guy had gone crazy and then aimed at him again. He is ready to kill him and does not hesitate. He will shoot. Liu, on the other hand, dodges the shot and with an impressive speed ends up behind the guy. The guy was impressed. He asked him if he was unawakened. Liu replied that it was not his problem. The guy replies that he doesn't have the guts. Liu is not afraid of him and tells him that since he is challenging him nicely, he was not going to refuse to kill him. The guy tried to stop him, but it was too late. Liu had already shot him in the head. All the comrades are impressed. He had actually killed one of the leaders of the Berserker. They all start shooting at Liu. He, having a superhuman speed, manages to evade the shots and with murderous intentions ends with each and every one of them. After dealing with the problem, he tells the girl to escape with him. If she comes with him, no one would harm her. She accepts. Liu could be the key that will help her to avenge her group, so she goes with Liu. They leave the auction house, but they know what awaits them as they killed one of the leaders of the most dangerous group in the city. Therefore, his head would be worth too much, and the rest of the city and the groups would only see them as a reward with legs. Even so, thanks to the extrasensory abilities of the girl, they managed to locate each enemy that were located in different points of the auction house. Thanks to this ability and the enormous powers of Liu to finish with all the members is a piece of cake. The girl is convinced more and more seeing the abilities of our boy, since they were the abilities that only an awakened could have. After finishing off everyone outside the auction house, the pink-haired girl tells him that her ex-boyfriend told her to meet again to sort things out. Liu knew that those were not the guy's real intentions, but he didn't say anything. However, he saw more than anything as an opportunity to get the whole group together to kill them all, as he was sure that the girl was called by the boyfriend because he wants to set him up, therefore accompany the girl. On the other hand, the brother of the guy Liu had killed was furious. His brother had died and the helpers had done nothing. This guy was none other than Mad Dragon, the official leader of the Berserker group. The members of his defense tell him that they have a plan. They bring the girl's ex-boyfriend and he tells the leader that he had previously met Liu, since he helped the ex-girlfriend, and he also tells that he would take advantage of the weakness that his ex has with him to meet them again, so they would have a trap for him and could easily finish him off. In another part of the city, the girl and Liu meet with the ex. He tells her that he will never be the same as before. He asks her to excuse him, besides asking for another chance. The girl refused. He was immature. Before the whole group finished, Berserker is present before them. The girl is shocked. Liu actually expected it. They exchange some words and the Mad Dragon tells Liu to say his last words as he is about to die. Our boy, with a smile on his face, tells him that he won't die that day, and next time be more aware of her surroundings. Everything is confused with his words until he says detonate. The girl with extrasensory abilities is on the other side activating the explosives. A huge series of explosions began to appear on the scene, leaving many dead. No trace of the leader could be seen either. They are lost. It seems that everything had gone well. There was no trace of life anywhere except for the girl's ex, who again begs for forgiveness like a coward. He is convinced that the girl will spare his life because he believes that the girl will always be his toy, and he will handle her as he pleases because she is weak-minded and the only thing she does is cry. But the girl comes closer. He thinks she will hug him, but in reality she stabs him in the stomach, leaving him dead on the floor, and then she tells him that thanks to him she learned a lesson because her mother died of the same situations she was going through. But the relief would not last long because from the flames begins to emerge a figure. It was the leader, the Mad Dragon, which turned out to be an awakened level 3, one class higher than Liu. He wakes up furious because no one had ever ambushed him and rushes against Liu, but nothing happens because the girl with extrasensory abilities appears and with the vehicle they had bought at the auction house runs over him and leaves him unconscious. He had arrived just in time, but there was no time to talk. They had to get out of the city as they were wanted by everyone. Their heads were worth too much to stay there. Liu and the two girls set off towards the city gate, which is the one that keeps the zombies away. But when they are en route, another group that also has control over the city wants to kill them to get the reward. While he protects the girls, they head to the entrance of the city. On the other hand, the Mad Dragon had awakened. He would do anything to kill Liu. He was completely crazy, running over innocents to reach him, and they were not the only ones who were looking for them, as different groups that were considered the most powerful in the city also seek him for the reward. Between all these groups could sweep the entire city in one night. Everyone around the city said that Liu was a dead man because no one had ever challenged the Berserker and had come out alive. To make matters worse, he was also being sought by the rest of the most powerful groups in the city. Everyone was already preparing Liu's grave. The girl with extrasensory abilities asks Liu how they will pass the entrance of the city if it is sealed. He tells her that they would not pass, they would go through it. The girl thinks he lost his mind. The door was made with stainless steel material. Not even the vehicle they had was able to make a scratch. Liu tells the girl that the auction room he used one of his abilities to hear what the other members were saying. It turns out that there is a secret about the door of the city, which is that not all the door is steel. It has some weak points that were reinforced with wood. They had no choice but to trust him. They were being pursued by the most feared groups in the city and had no escape. On the other hand, the Mad Dragon knows that it is impossible to break down or break through that door, as only members of his groups know the secret of the door. But what worries him is that he knows exactly what weak points have to go through. He is also worried that Liu knows that secret. However, they had already reached the door. They were nothing left to rely on than that word and rumor, so everyone is armed with courage, and before going through the door, the girl fired the missiles. The smokescreen did not let you see, but it turns out that the secret was real. They managed to get through the door were outside the city. They were now in a world full of zombies. All the enemy groups were stopped thanks to the impact and explosion that had caused the door. But only a small group did not stop with this, and this was the group of Crazy Dragon, which was willing to finish with Liu. Both girls were relieved not to die. Even so, they are somewhat concerned about the city. They know that those gates they had just destroyed is the one that keeps the zombie out of the city perimeters. Liu replies that they should thank him, as sooner or later those zombies were going to go through the gate and attack the city, killing everyone without any preparation. Still, they have not got rid of everything, as they were still being chased. Liu has a plan, and we see how he is taking some bloody clothes he took from the explosion out of the box. The Berserker group is still chasing them. As they chase him, they can see the distance how the vehicle Liu was being transported in had stopped. They all smiled. It looked like the idiot had run out of fuel, and they headed towards the vehicle, surrounding it so he couldn't escape. Liu was on the roof of the vehicle, and the Mad Dragon tells him to surrender as he is surrounded. Liu, with a smile on his face, tells him that he is not surrounded by him. Everyone around laughed, as they thought Liu had gone mad, as they beat him by far in strength and numbers. And without hesitation, in the battle area, the Mad Dragon tells Liu that he will not fall into his traps again, as before he got to the vehicle, he checked everywhere for explosives or some kind of ambush. Liu stands up and tells him that now he was smarter. He had checked the perimeter, but had not checked the place and points to all the surroundings. The Mad Dragons and the group are impressed. Everything was full of zombies. They were surrounded by zombies, but not a controllable amount. There were hundreds of thousands of them. It turns out that Liu did ambush him. The bloody clothes he had taken were used to lure all the zombies around him. The Mad Dragon knows he is lost, but he will not be defeated easily, and tells his group to control the perimeter while he takes care of Liu. They all obey the order, but they start to fall one after another. Even the trusted aides of the Mad Dragon, while the dragon is entertained watching his comrades fall, Liu tries to attack, but this only makes him a scratch. If that wasn't enough, Liu had not finished laying his trap, as he ordered both girls to launch some kind of missile towards them. The missiles are launched, and the whole group, including the leader, tried to take cover as it would explode, but this was not the case because the missiles detonate but they released a liquid. The whole group, including the Mad Dragon, are sprayed by it. It turns out that this liquid was human urine, which makes the zombies much more violent and aggressive. The rest of the group began to fall. The brothers of the Mad Dragon and their whole group were being devoured by zombies in front of their eyes. The Mad Dragon is enraged and wants to avenge his companions and of course end Liu's life. Liu, who is not afraid of the Mad Dragon, attacks him and tells him that he will not let him touch a single hair on both girls. He attacks him but easily deflects the attacks and soon realizes that he could not penetrate him despite Liu's incredible speed. It seems that this does not even tickle him. The Mad Dragon has well deserved his title as Awakened level 3, therefore his attacks are very strong and explosive. Liu counterattacks again, but he deflects it yet again. Shortly after, he tries to attack both girls, who refused Liu to fight with him since he was too strong. Liu saves her and deflects the attack elsewhere, telling her that her opponent is him and that if anyone was going to die it would be him. The battle is still going on, but any attack Liu throws at him is useless against him, as his skin is as hard as steel. Thanks to that level 3 awakened ability, his awakened power is of fire and his body is surrounded by a flame that protects him from all kinds of attacks and keeps him intact. So as long as the flame surrounding his body is lit, he would never be defeated or harmed. Liu is with a smile on his face. It turns out that he is awakened level 2 and his class is Wind. He explains that thanks to the apprenticeship he had in high school, he knew how to extinguish flames in a blink of an eye. The Mad Dragon is enraged and attacked him. He believed that what he was saying was pure lies, since in an apocalyptic world there would be no high schools. He calls Liu stupid. Previously, not even his knife could pierce him, no matter what kind of knives. Not even bullets could hurt him. Now, it's an even fight, even if one is level 3 and the other level 2. Both are hungry to win, otherwise both would be torn to pieces by the zombies.